everybody, welcome back to Art by Galen. My name is Galen Eilenfeld, and welcome back to Creating Comics Start to Finish, which is the series that I've created to help teach you and guide you through the process of making your own comic book. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a style guide for yourself and for your book. So what exactly is a style guide? Basically, it's a collection of visual references for you to use while you're making your book in order to help you stay close to a particular theme or vibe. It can include all kinds of references. It can be photos of settings and places, photos of people that have styles that reflect styles that you want your characters to have. It can be artwork by other creators that you really like and aspire to. It can be artwork of your own. It can be other digital assets and things like that. Things that keep you in the frame of mind to where you'll be able to create the visuals that you want your comic book to have and keep them centered around a particular style or theme. Here I've got some examples of things that I saved for my own style guide. I've got a few different photos of some punk and alternative style characters that heavily influenced the style that Penelope ended up having. Now, she may not dress exactly like these people or have their tattoos and piercings and things like that, but these are styles that help guide and influence me when I'm drawing Penelope to think about how she would present herself. I've also got some photo references for my new character Faith, who first appeared in Baku Dreamwalkers #3. For examples of settings, I found some really dreamy looking photos, and I saved these because I really love the way that they look. And I was hoping that they would inspire me to create work that would have a similar feeling or vibe. Some references here, these are artwork, concept art for video games and things, very dark and gritty. We've got some references for, downtown alleyways and things like that. These are all things that I wanted to have that would inspire a particular scene that was in Baku issue 2, which is this one here. We've got kind of a group of buildings and a cobblestone walkway, and all these buildings are connected. And it twists and turns because it's a dream, and you see little hints of werewolves and things everywhere. And it doesn't look exactly like any of these references, but that's kind of the point. These are meant to inspire. I'm not here to try to recreate these things. And I think that's an important line to draw when you're putting your references together, is you don't want to copy something directly. You don't want to find yourself tracing things that other people have created, and you don't want to find yourself trying to emulate an exact image or something like that. You want to use these as inspiration to help you to create something that is yours and original. Now, something else that you'll want to put together for your style guide are your own drawings of your characters. You're going to want to get really, really used to drawing your characters. These are some of the original sketches and drawings that I did of Penelope, the main character from my book. And she evolved over time, and she's still evolving even now as I work on the 4th issue. But you want a collection of various drawings of your characters so you have an overview of what kind of vibe do they have, how do they carry themselves, different expressions that they'll make. And you'll want to do this for all of the different characters that you have that are going to be regularly recurring. And the main reason that you want to do this is so that your characters are consistent throughout your books. Another thing that you may want to make part of your style guide, or even just add to your folder of references for your book, are different poses. There's all sorts of resources online that you can get, many paid, many free. Google image searches are good, but they only go so far. It really helps if you have many, many different references to fall back on, just in case you find yourself needing a particular pose that is, kind of difficult to do. Something else to keep in mind with your references, and this probably ties more into character development than it does for a style guide, but it's a little bit of both. Do your best to make your character recognizable. A strong silhouette will go a long way with helping readers to instantly recognize your character. And probably the most obvious example of this would be Batman. The moment you see that cowl, even if it's just a black shadow, you know exactly who it is. And it doesn't have to be, that iconic, but just try to give your characters different overall silhouettes. With my 2 main characters, Penelope and Alessa, her face and her body are a lot more rounded and curved, whereas Penelope is a lot more sharp and angular. It's not a major difference, but it is something that sets them apart. You can also use things like, clothing styles and hairstyles and accessories and weapons and whatever have you to help make your character's silhouette stand out a bit more. As artists, we tend to draw faces kind of similarly. Like, unless we are making deliberate effort to draw different faces, most of the time we're going to kind of default to a particular type of face. And we have to be careful of that when we're drawing different characters. And I'm guilty of this too. I recognize that a lot of my faces do have, very similar features, and I am working to try to improve that as time goes on. But one of the things that I do to help the characters stand out is giving them, very different hairstyles and very different body types. While you're building your style guide, you really want to spend a good amount of time drawing and redrawing your characters. You want to really, really get familiar with them. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was not doing this. When I started Baku issue 1, I literally, like, after I roughed out the first few pages, I jumped right into drawing them. And I did have some character sketches to begin with, but I didn't have very many. So over the course of the first 3 issues so far, Penelope is kind of evolving. And I think it's kind of neat to see that, but the artist in me wishes that I would have developed her a little bit more before starting the book. Just because I wish it was a little bit more consistent throughout all of the issues. On the opposite side of that, change is inevitable. Growth is inevitable as long as you continue doing what you do. And I think it's important to also just accept that growth and change are going to happen. Your characters will evolve. Your art style might completely evolve into something else. Unless you find that it's detrimental to your comic, I honestly really wouldn't worry about it. So it's kind of a tip and not a tip, because it's I'm basically telling you, pay attention to this, but don't worry about it too much. Another thing that you can do is you can build 3D references. Blender is a free software. You don't need to be a fantastic sculptor or anything like that. These are all just blocks and basic shapes. And you might recognize this apartment. You might recognize the couches and the placement of things here. I built this in Blender a couple years ago, and it's very rough. It's very bad. If you guys are watching this and you're 3D sculptors, please don't be too critical of me here. Essentially, what I do is, because this is a scene that I need consistency with the layout, and I want the perspective to be right. Now, I could go in and draft the perspective for every panel on every page, but I would much rather not have to do that. So what I did is I built this, and when I have a panel, I kind of rough sketch the panel, and then I find the angle of the apartment or whatever that I need. I don't even render it. I take a screen cap of it, I paste that into Photoshop, or I even just leave it on the screen and I draw it on paper. And basically, it just gives me a good, solid, consistent reference, and it saves me a bunch of time. Now, I've done this for Penelope's apartment. I've got a newer version of the apartment that I'm working on that's a little bit more developed, but I haven't had the time to go through and put all the furniture and stuff in it just yet. I've also got another book that I'm working on called Crimson Hex, and it involves like a witch's shop. And so this is the beginnings of the lower floor of the shop. And it's basically just because I know I've got a lot of shelving and stuff that are going to be in the background, and I want to be able to make sure that wherever I have these panels, I get the perspective right. And it doesn't have to be detailed or anything. It's just something that you can do as a reference for yourself. I've even seen people go as far as to make things like this, but out of paper. You can cut walls out of cardstock and tape them together and build little reference rooms and things like that, and take pictures of them with your phone to get the proper perspective. The whole reason that you want to take the time to do all of this and put it together is to give yourself a good resource that you can use from time to time whenever you're working on your book to help keep you adhering to a particular style. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different things that you can use when you're making a style guide. Some people, like me, I just keep a folder on my computer with a bunch of files. Some people will make like a mood board sort of thing that they can hang on the wall and keep like in the background at all times that they can visually, reference. But I'm curious, what sort of things have you used before with this type of thing? Have you built style guides or mood boards or type things, for your own projects? And what sort of things do you include? What do you find to be the most helpful? And before we wrap things up today, I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Comics Wellspring. Comics Wellspring is a comic book printing company that also provides lots of other merch and gear for comic creators. If you've purchased any of my books, Baku Dreamwalkers, all of them were printed by Comics Wellspring. I'm incredibly happy with how they turned out. The color is amazing, the print quality is amazing, the paper itself is amazing. Their customer service is fantastic. They're very easy to get a hold of, and they answer any questions that you might have about the whole process. And they've been kind enough to sponsor this series and help me to make this content that in turn helps you to be able to make your comics. And honestly, that's one of my favorite things about the company, apart from the quality of what they do, is that they are actually involved in the indie comics community. If you're looking to get your next comic book printed, visit comicswellspring.com, and there's a code here on the screen for you to get a little discount on your order. Also, want to take a moment and let you guys know that I have a new Creating Comics workbook that goes along with this series. Essentially, what it is it's a workbook designed to go along with this series. It's got some tips for getting started, little guides for finding inspiration and writing your book, and the beats of the plot arc, some things to think about with writing the script, some tips for drawing your pages, things like that. But it's also got pages for you to sketch out your characters, write down all the details and things about your characters. It's got a few pages for that. It's also got some pages for thumbnailing and sketching out your covers. And then after that, you have enough pages in here to sketch out an entire comic book. You have left and right pages. You've got a very, very faint grid on the pages where you can lay out all your panels and everything. And you've got sections on the side and bottom for dialogue and scene information, as well as sections up top to write things like, which issue it is, which book, page number, artist and author, and things like that. You don't necessarily need this to go along with the series, just like you don't necessarily need the series to go along with the book. But it was something that I thought would be nice to have, and so I decided to make this and put it up. You can find this at cwsbookstore.com. I'll put a link down below for that as well. But with that, thank you for watching this video. I hope you're finding this series helpful. Please leave me a comment down below if you have any thoughts or anything you want to share with me. But I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm going to grab my coffee here. And until next time, keep creating and take care.